Hello and welcome to a very special edition of Wake and Jake. It is Breakout or Fake Out with the two biggest internet baseball celebrities I know besides my best friend. It is Jolly Olive and it is Foolish Bailey coming live from the deep south in Georgia. Knicks Hawks talk? No. Bailey, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, speaking Jacob?
Okay. It's gonna be one of those eps. I'm good, man. I'm excited to yuck ball with you two. I feel like I squashed your guys' internet beef with this.
It never existed. You invented it and then squashed it.
and
that's a beef squash.
And that's how you debate people. Jolly, how are you doing?
I'm good. Outside of all non-Mets related things, like everything outside is good. And then there's just, that other team that I'm going to go see tonight. In stadium, Jake. Yeah. I can't wait, but I'm good.
I'm excited for you.
Thanks, man.
And biggest inning of the season yesterday.
Right. Shout out your beat Vivas, your guy.
Yeah.
Big error. Needed that.
Yeah, he came through the Yankees minor leagues, and sometimes that shows. Although my Yanks and Bailey's Braves.
Yeah.
The talk of the town right now, Bailey. How are your Braves doing?
My Braves are doing extremely well, and it just makes me wonder what the heck happened for most of 2024 and all of 2025. Because if it was just an aberration, I welcome that it was a lengthy aberration and not the new norm. But I'm a little bit confused as to what I'm seeing because they just keep on winning.
Yeah.
Are you Walt Weiss pilled?
I am extremely Walt Weiss pilled ever since he tackled Jorge Soler, and Jorge Soler was like, "He's my friend." Walt Weiss means me no harm after getting tackled by him. I was like, okay, this guy has the sauce.
It happened quick at the time, and we were all like, wow, that was kind of crazy. Walt Weiss and Jorge Soler. I think if you put those two side by side, hopefully we get a picture later in the season. Do they play again? No.
Only one of them won Rookie of the Year, Jake.
I guess World Series.
And it wasn't Jorge Soler.
Remember him? He would have been a fun fake out or breakout guy for a couple of those Cubs seasons, right? And then at certain points we would have been right, certain points we would have been wrong. If you are new to this episode, we've done it. BBD, are you saying 3 or 4 years?
This is the 4th time we've done an episode titled Fake Out or Breakout.
And the whole concept was a month into the season, which has gotten even... as baseball internet has taken off and we are part of the problem that, in 2 weeks, everyone thinks we know our team and Chase Lowder is going to win MVP. And then baseball begins to happen again, that a month into the season, you can kind of start doing okay, is this real? Something about this feels real. I've seen you do this for 30 games or so. Yet we also know in every season that is just not how it happens, that we play the game, breakout or fake out. So some guys that have come up in the past, last year, Jung-Hoo Lee had an incredible April. We all kind of got on that one. Jacob Wilson, if we wanted to do a debate, we could still put it out there. I think you guys would currently get the nod because his contact-only swing-at-everything approach, it did work, but it's kind of not that I don't know. The book isn't written on that one. Bailey's, all of his internet replies are about Ben Rice, so we don't have to talk about that.
Oh my God, they really go after you. It's crazy.
They hated Jesus for speaking the truth as well.
Okay.
But I will say...
So we're 3 minutes in. Bailey's compared himself to Jesus. Yeah. Very good.
They don't understand that I loved Ben Rice before them, and that's why they're frustrated. Because I knew ball about Ben Rice before them, and now that I'm like, I disagree with Aaron Boone, they're like, actually, we hate you and not Aaron Boone.
Hey.
You care to comment, Jim?
I'm fine with that.
These are your people?
Keep the target off of my manager. Let's see. Matt Mervis... Jolly and Foolish. There might be some receipts on that one that we might have to hide at some point. We all got by Casey Mize last year?
Yeah, I didn't believe.
What's that about?
Yeah, he was an all-star gamer.
Kind of crazy. We all went fake out on that. Wheeler Abreu, we all did pretty good on. We were all bought in on that.
Good on us.
The year before, Kyle Harrison and Reed Detmers are on there. I feel like we could do them every year if we really wanted to.
Yeah, let's run it back.
Yeah, should we just put them at the top of the lineup? Mason Wynn, I think that was your guys' initial fist fight that I had to break out.
I was hot about that one. I love Mason Wynn.
Bailey was right. Bailey was wrong. I don't know. I don't know where we're at with Mason Wynn as a society. Why was Stephen Kwan on the list? And then, like all of us in the baseball world, we got by 2024 April's Patrick Bailey. Womp womp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What wasn't to
I felt
like?
for that one so bad.
What
We don't
wasn't
even
to
have
like?
watch the
though?
tape.
He was just
I was
good
probably
at
like
everything.
he's a top 3 catcher in ball or something.
He
like
felt
that.
he felt out of a movie. It's like
Oh my goodness.
it literally looks like he's okay. I'll boomer myself. He's clip farming defensive catcher highlights, and then he was hitting at the time that you're like, yeah, whoa, I don't know. He's the next Buster Posey, and here I am on the Daniel Susac train. So that's a little bit of where we've been and where we are. For this year, I sent you guys. I went team by team, and I looked at a couple. It was a little too much. It was for myself. I'm actually not going to give myself a pat on the back. It was almost too much work of just looking at a couple guys I like that are clearly playing well to start this year. I sent the list to both of you guys, asked to do a system of plus. This is sometimes I critique baseball in the scouting scale of 20 to 80, and here I am asking you guys to do the plus, no comment, minus scale, which it just makes me sound foolish by the end. And look at that. I did want to get you guys started on a good foot because, again, the heated rivalry from Happy Grape to bleeping baseball that he calls you around the office. I wanted to get you guys aligned, and it's a young guy who made some headlines this year and got some people hyped about a team before the season that's been a little lackluster, but he hasn't. I want to start with Carter Jensen. And Jolly, I'll actually kick off to you because you do have, I believe, receipts before the season getting very excited about Carter Jensen. And you gave him the plus.
I did. I gave him the plus. He kind of feels in my head like a successor to Salvi. Probably should already be doing most of the catching if he isn't already. Before the season, I wasn't too high on the Royals, but my kind of spin was like, well, if things are going to go right for them this year, which feels like they're turning a corner kind of, one of those things was going to be Carter Jensen, who his walk rates in the minor leagues always really interested me. He came through with a little bit of pop last year, his most home runs in a minor league season at 20. Obviously, we had the alarm clock thing this year, which I think hopefully will just become a fun fact blip moving forward for Carter Jensen because there's a lot to like in his batted ball profile right now. He's still not spraying the ball out in his hit chart here, but overall, at 22 years old, I'm really impressed with what I've seen so far. He's like probably my favorite at-bat to watch in that lineup right now, if you're not going to go with Bobby Witt Jr., obviously, who sneaky still kind of slow starting to get a little worried about
Bobby
that.
Witt.
For Bobby Witt, the standards are higher. Pulling the ball in the air, that's the big thing. 26% clip right now. It's one of the highest in the league for someone with that many qualified plate appearances. I hope he keeps it up because the Kansas City Royals absolutely need that offense in the middle of their lineup, and that's controllable talent that can be there for a really long time. So I'm in on Carter Jensen.
Bailey Bear?
And you're doing a great job establishing common ground between myself and Jolly before you pit us against each other. You know?
Yes.
Like before the horns really come out. You're saying you guys both like Carter Jensen. You have so much in common.
I was going to say I would be really shocked if he didn't.
You build him up to tear him down. That's the secret.
Yeah. I adore Carter Jensen. It really dates back to his cup of coffee last year even. This is a guy that just feels like he can almost do no wrong offensively, just distributes his batted balls well, as Jolly said. There's some real serious power in that bat, and I think just having him and Salvi, kind of overlapping positionally, like the amount of power they can get out of the catcher position is pretty insane. If there's one criticism, the bat to ball is definitely below average. And, in the minor leagues, he's a guy who run like a mid-20s strikeout rate, and sometimes that turns into like a 30 strikeout rate in the bigs. But like overall, yeah, I said Carter Jensen coming into the year for me would be like a rookie of the year candidate, and I thought, he was going to have just this incredible, offensive rookie season. And so far, I would say he has lived up to the hype. We'll see how much longer he can keep it up, though, because, of course, this is only 1 month into the season.
Yeah, the great game of it all. He's got bat speed. Everyone loves bat speed. He's currently framing well for those out there. Although I saw him, was he struggling to catch Lucas Ursig the other day? Did I dream that? I'll go rewatch my Royals highlights later. And yeah, it's kind of funny this obviously a different player than Freddie Fermin, but the Royals being like, well, we can't make Salvi stop playing catcher, but as long as we bring in an actual good catcher, he'll respect it enough to DH and throw on the first baseman a couple days. I'm very interested to see. Carter Jensen's one of the. It's so funny that we're oddly going to remember that alarm clock thing for a little bit, but yeah, I don't know how you fully. For young guys that have to DH a lot, because Salvi still wants to catch, I just find that puts yourself in an awkward position sometimes. So I don't know. I still have Royal stock. I don't know for their young guys how to divvy it up between Jensen, Caglione, and however they're going to get it done. And yeah, just a note on Bobby Witt Jr., his slow start, 1.6 B WAR through 30 games, and the OPS is back to 8. So.
I'm worried.
Yeah, you should be.
Worried.
So Bobby Witt Jr. fake out by both of you. I told you guys before this I was going to let you guys run on a couple of your own side topics where maybe you guys didn't duel. Jolly, I know you didn't over prep for this. No shame on my end.
Thanks.
You had a lot of the catchers, which this isn't.
Was it on this show that I said we're like golden age of catchers right now? I really feel that way.
I don't know. You tell me, Jolly, because you had a plus with Campusano, Liam Hicks.
I love Liam Hicks.
Tell us why, because I didn't. Neither of those two had evoked those emotions out of me.
I'll start with Campy first because I think that's, I guess, a bolder claim of the two. Campy, former very touted prospect in the Padres system. I was actually watching Padres Cubs last night, and Mud and Don were doing like a whole inning just talking about Campusano, which is kind of influenced my rating a little bit. Of this is the first time in his career where he has like a guaranteed spot on the 26 man and no anxieties about whether or not he's going to go up or down. And I feel like you're really starting to see it reflected in his play. He had a quote after I think he had a walk-off hit this year where he was just like, "I'm not giving an F." I'm not going to say it because I don't know if I can curse on this show, but he said that to the reporters, and I was like, okay, that's not what I would say, but I kind of love that for him because, he spent this is his 7th year getting major league plate appearances, and most of the seasons are 50 and under. It looks like he's going to shatter that this year. He's hitting the cover off the baseball. They really seem to trust him defensively now more than ever, too. There was talks in prior years of guys in the staff didn't love throwing to him. It just feels like a lot of things are coming together for him, and I always really liked him in his minor league days as a prospect. So it's a little bit wishful thinking on my end, but I really am hoping that the Padres magic really continues to influence him and he puts together a really nice full catching season. So I'm in on Campy. I'm in on Liam Hicks, who has a chance to be one of like the better Rule 5 draft picks in like recent history. He just works incredible at bats. He doesn't strike out. Like he doesn't whiff on pitches in the zone. He's whiffed on one pitch in the zone this entire year. It was on a Reynaldo Lopez, 70-mile-per-hour curveball. That was it. That's the only time he's whiffed in the zone. He's got 5 walks to 8 strikeouts and 100 plate appearances so far this year. The pop's starting to come through. He's already matched his homer total from last year. And behind the plate, he's just better than Agustin Ramirez. So that's the bar that the Marlins are trying to clear with their catchers. So yeah, those two, I'm glad you picked them out because those two, I'm very excited about them for the 2026 season.
Bailey, if you want anything with those two or if you'd like to pass, you're more than welcome.
Great hosting.
Yeah, I didn't have that strong of a read on either of those guys, so I think it's cool that Jolly does, and I think there'll be some moments throughout this where one of us has a passionate take on a player, and one of us is just like, I don't know, I could go either way. I guess if I had to pick between those two, I would probably say Hicks. I mean, the 6 homers to 8 strikeouts, that seems like a nice way to start your season. A guy who doesn't swing and miss, but also has run into a few to start this year. That's a nice little combo for him, and I think it's it'll be interesting to see what the Marlins do with the catching because they also have Joe Mack down there, and he's extremely gifted defensively. So I could see maybe Hicks and Mack take the lion's share of the catching, and then Augustin's more of a first base DH. I don't know, but they have some interesting decisions to make moving forward with the emergence of Hicks among the catching crew.
Joe Mack mentioned early on
OTP
in the
God.
program.
OTP God.
My goodness. Foolish, I guess the ones for you, because I did tell you guys, because I sent over way too many names. I was like, hey, if you got nothing, just you can kindly pass. One that I've been excited about personally, Jolly, no comment by you. Carlos Cortes, Bailey, from the Athletics. And if you want to talk about Daniel Schneemann with the plus, that one surprised me a little bit.
Plus
I'll
on
start with Carlos
Schneemann is
Cortes because that's
crazy.
if I could give 3 pluses to Carlos Cortes, I would. This is going to be great when we get to the end of the season and he has like a 650 OPS.
No, don't say that.
This is going to be such a great clip for everyone to share on Twitter. But no, I mean Carlos Cortes, this is my guy. Like this, first of all, short guy with pop is a great archetype in this game. It just is like shorter levers, like bat to ball skills. You know, you have some pop and that's how you become like a really good player a lot of times. Carlos Cortes, he's 5'7", as Jolly mentioned, a Mets farmhand who, after joining the A's, was hitting better at AAA than he ever hit in the Mets organization, and kind of got that cup of coffee last year to get started. I will also say a switch thrower, which hasn't really been seen in MLB famously, but he plays the outfield as a left-handed thrower and the infield as a right-handed thrower. But yeah, I mean, as far as just the overall skills here, I mean, very little weakness that he's shown to his game to start the season. Like great swing decisions overall across the board. He puts the bat to ball very well, and there's some pop, there's some bat speed. There's, you know, he can run like a double-digit barrel rate, which is like a good sign of pop, both in the present as well as the future. Actually, his barrel rate's 16% right now, and he is making end zone contact on about 90% of swings. So that's a pretty good combination right there. And I just think the Athletics are going to have some decisions to make when Denzel Clark comes back from IL as far as how they structure their outfield, because this guy has really shown off. And if they want to keep him around in the lineup, maybe it comes at the expense of someone like Lawrence Butler, who we were having this conversation about 2 years ago, or maybe even it comes at the expense of someone like Zach Geloff, who's also been playing some outfield, who we were having this conversation about 3 years ago. I think Carlos Cortes sticks. I really do. I think he's shown a lot, and throughout his tenure in the majors, he's been nothing but good, really, if you count, you know, last year and then coming into the early stages of this year. He has a career 65 games played, and he has a 166 WRC plus. He's slugging over 600 as a big leaguer. So I think he's legit. I think he'll continue to hit.
Yeah, it's cool. Him and Carter Jensen, it was like, oh, they got cups of coffee last year and they contributed, which you could spin that either way. Like I find myself saying the speech a lot when a guy gets beat up at the majors for like 30 games and they think about that all off season and then they come out crushing, that I'm like, yeah, I like that they saw Major League Baseball and got beat up. But both of those two have hit. Beebs, I don't know if you're going to have an easy way to bring up any savant pages. I was impressed by Liam Hicks's when Jolly mentioned it. That's not what I expected to see from Liam Hicks. I mean, if we did blind, which
Cortes is crazy.
Why haven't we done this as a social series,
Yeah,
like
right.
blind baseball savants? Carlos Cortes looks like a Judge Mantle hybrid, which is, it's just insane when you do see him listed as the 5'7", 197-pound third down back, basically. But in this sport, that can work. I know. What about your guy Schneemann? Because you could get me on the Cortes train. Schneemann just feels like Guardians player generator, which unfortunately does have us all put up a wall between us and him.
Right. I mean, there's shades of David Fry, you know, already, right? We definitely had a David Fry conversation a couple years ago that could have gone along these lines. Schneemann is kind of, first of all, he's fun to watch this year. Like, he's just kind of swinging as hard as he can. It's kind of home run or bust. There's a lot of swing and miss in the game right now. I kind of like that he's going to move around a lot with Bazana now up to kind of occupy second base for the Guardians. Like, he's going to move around in terms of positions, in terms of, you know, where he is in the lineup. But, you know, he's another guy who's barreled up the ball well to start the year. Another thing that I feel like I have a certain kinship with Daniel Schneemann because our names have so many letters in common. The name Daniel, the name Bailey have a lot of letters in common. The name Freeman, the name Schneemann have a lot of letters in common. And so even though my name is not Daniel Schneemann and I'm not related to Daniel Schneemann, I feel a certain kinship to him. So I'm going to argue in his favor. And that's just analytics.
And that's why we do it. It is funny. I do like the Schneemann. Well, how similar your guys' names are. That's pretty wild. Round 33 pick.
Ooh.
Daniel Schneemann. Didn't have that. And if you're a sweet spot percentage person, 100th percentile, and currently 97th in range. So, yeah, that's a good way to be on the Guardians and play. And they basically tell everyone after Jose Ramirez, swing as hard as you can and hope something happens this inning. And Daniel Schneemann is having things happen this inning. So he'll get run. I don't know what it means for the whole year, but I'm plus for Daniel Schneemann. Proud of you, Bailey.
Why not? You know, and I think with him, it's like, oh, this guy's got like 100th percentile sweet spot percentage. That make me think, oh, maybe not a great pick, actually. That's one of those stats that has a lot of noise early in the season. You basically just said he has a 400 BABIP, just in different terms.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to add that to your recipe, not take away.
Jake, I do have to say this.
Okay.
To quickly shout you out, kind of.
Oh.
Because we just talked about the cup of coffee last year that leads into this year and how sometimes bad can be good and good can be bad. We did our tier lists. You talked me down from Luke Keeschel. Just checked in on him. 55 OPS plus so far this year in 29 games. And I was super high on him.
It's a tough game, dude.
It's a
and
hard
it's
game.
also 1 month that that can be.
I still like him, but it was like, damn, he was right.
It can be a race next month. Yeah, man. I don't know. It's I hate being cynical. Nice. Good conversation with myself. Unfortunately, this sport that we're obsessed with is so hard to be good. It's the exciting way to play this game because Ben Rice, man. I mean, I'll be hand up. I'll get in front of them. When I first saw Ben Rice, I was like, the at bats seem nice. It looks like he knows the strike zone. I didn't think he would be the second coming of. I mean, what is he now? I think we dreamed on the high end of him being like Brandon Belt. Just got his number retired in San Francisco. Congratulations,
sneaky
Brandon
underrated
Belt.
career.
And that was like, it felt dirty to say because it was kind of like for baseball people, like, hey, Brandon Belt's pretty good. Like, if he had played all of his games at Yankee Stadium, he's probably got 600 homers.
No one said that.
I can't believe what Ben Rice has turned into from like the sweet, innocent smile of a boy that got called up to now he's just mashing baseballs and he's the 1-2 punch with Aaron Judge. It's shocking.
Yeah, I like that you put Ben Rice on the list as if
I wanted to see if anyone took the bait. I don't know.
Else than plus. There's just nothing not to like. He's like the second best hitter in baseball, and the first best hitter is on his team. It is crazy though. Like I think most baseball people who are like in the weeds were very intrigued by Ben Rice. If you're willing to just ignore the whole like position caveat, which it feels like is kind of figuring itself out a little bit. Like it doesn't look as bad as I think some fans might have had expected it to.
Also caught last year and was fine.
Yeah, so like I feel like once that sorted itself out, you could really buy into Ben Rice. And I'm glad that the whole like he can't play against lefties thing only lasted like 10 days, 2 weeks, maybe something like that. About. So now that we're over that hump and he's just playing every day, plus like it's not a good thing that Stanton got hurt, but now it's just freeway for Ben Rice to play. They're really seeing how far they can take this, and it's going to be, I think, one of like the crown jewels of like Yankees player development of like this 12th round pick is going to easily surpass many of the top prospects we've touted, kept, or traded in the past like 3 years.
The new Yankees one-liner is it's the same scout that found Rice and Schlittler. So yeah, he's going straight to the
I didn't know
straight
that
to
one.
Monument Park.
It is a good line. That's very interesting.
First scout in Monument Park. All right. Enough of the friendliness.
No.
And let's get a click. That's all we're doing here. Munetaka Murakami.
Yeah. Yeah. I bet you if you're watching this at home, you know exactly where we landed.
I like that both of you are a little scared right now. Bailey, I'll let you kick off. Today's episode is sponsored by Best Western Hotels and Resorts. Life's a trip, so why not make the most of it with over 4,000 hotels worldwide? Best Western is there for every detour, destination, and unexpected turn along the way. Great stay isn't just about where you sleep, it's about where the journey is taking you next. And if you stay 3 nights at Best Western, you'll receive a $50 gift card to use for your next stay. Best Western gets it. Traveling is not one size fits all. Whether you're going solo, whether you're with the whole gang, whether it's an adventure, whether you're just looking to unwind a little bit, Best Western helps you achieve your travel goals. So book it and book it with Best Western. Life's a trip. Make the most of it at bestwestern.com.
Yeah, I think with Munetaka Murakami, he's such like a 3 true outcome profile. And you've seen pretty much only the upside of that in the first month of the season. This guy's he's hitting homers left and right. Yes, he is striking out a lot, but he's also walking a lot. Like you can tolerate, a strikeout rate over 30% if the walk rate's super high. And that's where he's at right now. So, it's like 17% walk rate, 12 homers in 30 games. It's pretty great start to his career. I am coming out as sort of the minus on him. and I'll be interested to see where Jolly is. But, I think with someone like Murakami, the best version of this is Schwarber, right? If he is, if he fulfills all of his potential, he's Schwarber. And when I compare him to Schwarber, there's still less bat to ball than Schwarber. And I think ultimately that could be the undoing, is that he still continues to run a contact rate right around 60%, which for a lot of guys, even guys with pop, that's pretty close to the border of like viability. And I think because of that, there's like going to be an inherent streakiness there. And ultimately, Murakami is going to probably have a prolonged streak this year where he's like borderline unplayable, because the homers aren't going to be homering, the walks aren't going to be walking, but the strikeouts are just going to keep on happening. And so even though it's been nothing but upside, nothing but good feelings early on, I am going to sort of side with essentially the market on this one, which, the market dictated when he came over that he ended up getting a way shorter contract, a way shorter, overall like commitment from the White Sox. As sort of a surprise team that ended up signing him. And I think we'll see as the season progresses that it was that way for a reason, and there is going to be an inherent streakiness within the profile.
Okay.
Jack?
Well, firstly, I do want to say that I don't think Murakami is going to play to this level the whole year. And I think even like White Sox fans who have been watching him every day will agree with that. My question for this...
I don't know if White Sox fans would agree with that. They've been looking for anything Murakami for the past 4 years.
Comment down below. My next question is, do you view guys like Pedro Alvarez and Joey Gallo as productive baseball players when they were playing to their 3 true outcome talents? That is kind of the question I'm asking myself, and I think my answer is yes. I think those are valuable baseball players when the one outcome of the 3 true outcome was not rearing its ugly head as much more than the other 2. Mm-hmm. With Murakami, there are red flags. He's right now 3rd in home run to fly ball rate in baseball at a clip of 40%. But the other way you can spin that, number 2 is Ben Rice, 41.7%. Hey. How about that? I think we all believe in him a little bit. The BABIP isn't like sky high through the roof, so my next questions for him were, well, what about the velocity? That's been kind of the thing that everyone was a little bit scared of so far. It's not a massive sample, but he has 2 hits against pitches that were 98 miles per hour or harder, a bunch more above 93, which is about league average velocity right now on your 4-seamer. So he's still competing with those pitches. So it's kind of what Foolish said in the matter of, can you believe that Munetaka Murakami, when the league gets at him at a second time, like Jimmy likes to say for some of the Japanese pitchers, for this Japanese hitter, when the league sees him a second time and a third time and they make their adjustments, will Murakami adjust back? I think he will. I've always really liked Murakami, even before he got posted and he was first starting to get attention back in the 2023 World Baseball Classic. I kind of latched onto him then. I do still think at the end of the day, the most realistic outcome for him is he is a Pedro Alvarez, Joey Gallo type hitter, but those hitters put together very valuable seasons in their career. So by that definition, I think Murakami can be very much a successful big leaguer and possibly the biggest position player moved at this year's trade deadline if he continues to play to this level, because he has another year under contract and a bunch of teams will benefit from power from the left side in the middle of their lineup.
Well done, both of you. I don't know. I'm a Murakami believer on the whole. I think the White Sox was calculated to a degree. I think in an Ohtani-esque way, the fact Ohtani went to the Angels, part of the reason that I think people forget is like he wanted to try to do both. Like the Yankees, the other teams were more bought into one way, and they were like, well, let's, why don't you figure this out, Palo, and then we'll let you try the other one if you figure it out. And I think the Angels were just like, dude, if you come here, knock yourself out. And he did. I think Murakami for a little bit with the 2-year contract to the White Sox is a little bit of what you're saying. I think there was a strategic play there of like, hey, it might take a minute to figure this out. The fact he's gotten off to this great start and he's caught in a couple velo ones, because that's the scary part. And that's where I would come back against Gallo. I think Gallo, with 3 true outcome baseball and that almost being hyper encouraged at the time, ended up hurting Gallo. And then I think velo really starting to pick up where Gallo was hitting a slight age arc in his career. And I don't think New York City helped him out a little bit, which I won't harp on that too much. I don't know. I think Murakami's a guy. I think if you can be successful to the level he was overseas, that the gap isn't that different. Whether it's, okay, maybe these dudes do throw harder, but okay, let's say we find Murakami has a weakness and it's up and in. Okay, a lot of these guys that throw 97, 98, they don't have the best location because they throw 97, 98, so they made it to the majors. All right, well, if Murakami can still get extended, I know I'm making up a fake example right now. The fact he's gotten off to this start when it could have went the opposite, and that would have been horrifying. And again, we don't know who's going to be right, who's going to be wrong here. The fact he's shown this, I just think he has the ability, because we could be doing the whole other speech, and it's like, well, he's still adjusting to the big leagues, and he still needs to see guys. He's been one of the best hitters in baseball. Like, it's hard for any player to do that for a month, never mind a 26-year-old, his first time in the major leagues, with what should be his pedigree. Like, he's going to have rough months. Everyone does. But again, the walks thing is actually huge for him. Like, that's how you stay on the field. Like, oh, yeah, Murakami had an 0-for-11 series, but he walked 4 times. Like, you can still do that. And I've been impressed by the defense. Like, again, this is another, I can't believe how bad we are at scouting sometimes, that it was like, does this guy have a position? He looks athletic and good at first base, which he's still learning. So I'm overall in on Murakami, although I do believe that's the easier answer right now.
Right. I would say the Murakami detractors preseason have retreated from the front lines.
Yes.
And they're waiting for that streak to come up that I'm talking about. I'm the one that's still going to plant the flag at the front of the trench, basically, and that's if I have to wear it later on, I'll wear it.
And I mean, like, there is definitely a world this year where if Murakami gets moved or if he doesn't get moved, whatever, he might end up as a pure platoon splits guy. His lefty platoon split is so interesting right now. He's only 6 for 32 with 16 strikeouts, which is objectively a bad stat line, but 4 of the 6 hits are home runs. So I don't really know what to make of that. That's not sustainable at all, but it reflects positively in his platoon so far.
The power's very real, as he showed when he went over the batter's eye in Sacramento. He also has that ability, like, he got beat on a curveball and hit it out, I think, to the opposite field. And I was like, okay, again, that's a different level of power that a lot of guys just do not have. And I guess the other thing that excites me, he already had like a full-blown slump. He had a 1 for 23 the second week of the season that, okay, if you wanted to get the knives back out against Murakami, it was go time. And then he's bounced back again. So
8 walks in those 8 games too.
I think Gallo, because if you look at Gallo's core years there as like 5 years of a 4-WAR play or something like that, that could probably be fair, because sometimes we forget how good of a baseball player that kind of is. I mean, he gets defensive points there too when he was winning the Gold Glove. I looked at Pedro Alvarez's page, and I don't know. I hope that's not right. And the nicest
home run king one year. Come on.
I know, but
Respect him.
We expected more from our king. Here's something most guys never hear about. The body might actually be producing enough testosterone. The problem is a lot of it never gets used. There's a protein called SHBG that binds to testosterone and essentially takes it out of circulation. So even if levels look fine on paper, a big chunk of it is just unavailable. And on top of that, testosterone naturally starts declining for most men around age 30. Less available testosterone means lower energy, slower recovery, less muscle, and more fat. And that extra body fat then starts converting testosterone into estrogen, making the whole thing even harder to turn around. Mars Men is a natural supplement designed to support healthy testosterone levels and help the body actually access what it's producing. Natural ingredients, no synthetics, made in the USA, third-party tested, and backed by a 90-day money-back guarantee. And for a limited time, our listeners can get 50% off for life. Whoa. Plus free shipping and 3 free gifts at mengotomars.com. That's mengotomars.com. 50% off and 3 free gifts when you check out. It's also available on Amazon. After you purchase, they will ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them Wake and Jake sent you. let's see. Who else did I? Let's get Bailey on a more fun one. I texted you guys. Okay. You know what, Bailey? You sent this as a follow-up with a plus. I've liked the highlights I've seen from this guy. I'd be lying if I said I was watching every at-bat. Casey Schmitt. You're in. Tell me about it.
I am in. I was a little bit upset when the Giants brought in Arias because I was like, I kind of like what Casey Schmitt's showed me at the end of 2025 there. Like put him at second base. Instead, he's been kind of moving around. Like he's had a lot of DH, which is funny because he came up as like a glove guy. Basically, they're like, oh, this is the next Matt Chapman. It's a lot of DH, first base, 1 third base. Maybe the scouts just completely whiffed on everything Casey Schmitt, because he's shown me a lot to start the season. Right now, his barrel rate is 15%. I'm probably going to say barrel rate a lot this episode, and that's because early on in the season, you're looking for stats that are sticky and meaningful. And barrel rate in that case is going to be more sticky and meaningful than something like OPS, which could be like very BABIP dependent, or did you hit a fly ball that went 390 and landed warning track, or 400 and went over the fence? A lot of that stuff can be finicky. So I tend to focus on things early on this season that have like a decent enough sample, feel like they matter. Casey Schmitt this year, in zone, 90% contact rate. Like that's very good. He's making a lot of contact in the strike zone. As we've said earlier, he is hitting the ball hard as well. And I think just the overall batted ball distribution is very strong. This is one of the best, like, pull the fly ball in the air guys so far early on. And I think it's just going to be a recipe for him to potentially hit like a pretty impressive amount of home runs this season relative to the ballpark he plays it in, relative to, the overall expectations for him coming into this season. So I'm definitely pro Casey Schmitt at the moment. He has a 140 WRC plus through his first 23 games.
And Jolly, you hate him?
No, I didn't really have a super strong opinion. I'm glad that Foolish kind of noted the environment, if that makes sense. Like when they brought in Arias and kind of boxed him out of a spot, there was obviously the Chapman thing that happened earlier this year. Back-to-back games, he got thrown out overrunning second base. So there's some weird like baseball IQ stuff, but obviously that's not really quantifiable and doesn't really show up on a page. What is showing up on a page is pretty much everything that Foolish said there in terms of the nice solid contact early on in this year. I wish the walk rate was a little bit higher. It's among the bottom 30 in the league right now, right next to Willy Adames at 4.2%. Again, that can rise and fall with any good or bad month. I think the biggest thing is like just finding a place to play him to the best of his abilities, if that makes sense, because they've kind of logjammed themselves at the two positions that Schmitt is most valuable, which is second and third base. So I don't know. I don't really know what the formula becomes there. But I will say that like in terms of a kind of, I don't want to say middling Giants lineup because there's still tremendous upside there. He has a chance to be a top 3 hitter in that lineup. It's just, can you find him adequate playing time and make sure you're maximizing his value? It was more a concern with the team rather than the player, if that makes sense.
Don't backpedal, dude. Ugh. You hate Casey Schmitt.
He wasn't even a double minus. He was like a half one minus, dude.
It's he has one of those funny baseball pages that if you look at it now that he's gotten off to a strong start outside of the all-world third baseman telling him to catch the bleeping ball, and the base running stuff you mentioned. If you take out his rookie year, which, 90 games as a rookie, whatever, he was a plus hitter the past 2 years in 135 games or whatever it was. And now that he's off to a good start this year, pulling the ball, getting it in the air, his spray chart is comical. He has 6 dots that are like painting the line. So he's trying to turn on that ball. And this is a team that's been looking for hitting at various positions that it's kind of funny. Part of the reason I was excited to talk about him, I don't know if it's from Matt Chapman yelling at him. I don't know if it's from his manager yelling at him. I don't know if it's from the fact he's playing first base now. That Casey Schmitt, the way he's playing is just very pissy. Like when he hits a home run, he's just like, ugh. Like I'm mad I even had to do that on this team. But here I am playing first base, so I'm gonna hit homers. Until some team probably a smart team trades for me to be their third baseman so I can go do that somewhere else. That I don't know. He's also one of those guys that, on Talkin' Baseball, we just talk a lot of baseball. And every season it feels like there's a Casey Schmitt moment. that it's kind of like, well, hey, either this is his moment or the light bulb's gone off for a 28-year-old player who's getting a real opportunity. And just the Bryce Eldridge DHing stuff didn't make sense for me. Don't DH young players except Moises Ballesteros, apparently. That guy, dude. Okay. Where do we want to go? I've got some more. I want you guys to just fucking rip each other's throat off. I think you guys were both down on Wrobleski.
Yeah, he's just not striking people out.
Is that it? Like,
kind of it. I mean, I know the Dodgers play great defense behind him. He stat padded against my terrible Mets. No, I'm just kidding. I think he's a solid foundational pitcher, but again, if you're striking out guys at such a low clip like that and not really never walking people to offset it, it's kind of just a scary profile for me.
And I'll also say, like, I mean, for him early on, it's not like the ground ball rate is anything or insane, or, you know, like the main thing that a pitcher can control from a batter is their launch angle. You know, how hard or how soft the hitter hits it, that's more so under the hitter's control, but the launch angle is kind of dictated by the pitcher a lot of times. And I just don't see him as like some sort of elite contact manager to offset the low strikeouts, as Jolly was saying.
Yeah, I don't know. That one, in a way, it's one of the easier ones. You see the 1.5 ERA next to his name, and then you see 15 strikeouts in 30 innings. And if you've been doing the baseball math with pitchers, normally there's another shoe to drop. It'll be interesting. I wonder if I'm going to read the Eno Saris article in 2 weeks that's like, Justin Wrobleski throws 2 invisible pitches. And you're like, oh, okay. Well, that sounds sick, dude. And it's just a funny world that we live in that, again, if this was 20 years ago and it was a 25-year-old lefty pitcher on the Dodgers off to this start, we'd be like, okay, hey, Koufax, watch out. It's Wrobleski season. And now we almost, in a way, we just might have too much information that it's like another 1.5 ERA probably wasn't the number. But if you're a lefty that has a four-seamer and a slider that are tough to hit, like, I know we never actually use these player comparisons that Baseball Savant or Baseball Reference gives us.
I do like them, though.
But it's, I don't know, like one of them says Carlos Rodon, and it's like, yeah, I've seen him. He was mostly fastball and slider for a while. Both were a little more electric. And I still can't get the theory out of my head because we did a Cy Young draft this year with Eno. And it was just like, it's just harder to hit lefties because you just don't see them as much, which is so dumb. But it makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. But yeah, that was one you guys were aligned on. And I think after doing this exercise for a few years, you'd be like, yeah, that kind of checks out. Let's see. What do I have for you guys? Okay, another fun name of this baseball season. I forget who's going to have the gun pointed at the other one. It is big, tall Jordan Walker, who has seemingly broken out this month for the St. Louis Cardinals. The top prospect who had really struggled.
Yeah,
My God. Looking at his last year when you were like, Jordan Walker struggled, and then you'd bring it up and be like, okay, I don't know. Bailey, you have the 1-. So I'm interested to see what you're reading and reacting to. And Jolly, you did have the ++. So Bailey, please.
It's one of those where you're really reacting to a small sample size of data because probably up until a week or two ago, I would have been the ++. I do think Walker is starting to regress back into kind of old habits on some fronts, and it's mainly sort of the bat to ball skills. You know, coming into those first couple weeks of the season, we saw massive improvements for him in pretty much anything you can imagine, whether it's the batted ball distribution, the bat to ball skills, the underlying power stuff. Like the bat speed's always been there for him. It's elite. The barrel rates. I'm not going to make BBD generate such a thing, but if you look at a rolling contact graph for Jordan Walker, like it's just going straight down. Like
when you get a chance,
he's whiffing a lot. These last couple weeks, he's at a point right now where his in zone contact rate's the lowest it's ever been, and then as well as the fact that his swinging strike rate is 16.4%. That actually implies like a 33% strikeout rate on the season if it were to continue. So even though like batted ball distribution, definitely obvious improvements, I just feel like this is a guy where he may sort of regress a little bit as we move forwards, and we maybe need to pump the brakes just a little bit on the Jordan Walker train.
Jolly, you're driving the Jordan Walker train.
Yeah, I mean, there's high potential for me to have egg on my face with both Jordan Walker and Munetaka Murakami, just because like I really am buying into these hot starts.
Yeah.
For Jordan Walker, it was love at first sight with his bat speed. As soon as I saw him ranking, 90th percentile or higher at age 21, up there with your Jordans and your Ben Rices and your Nick Kurtzes and your O'Neill Cruzes, I was like, how can this guy not be great? And to see him in those first 2 weeks just hitting the cover off the baseball, it's another one where I'm a little bit wishful thinking, wanting Jordan Walker to live up to his potential. I'll do some more rudimentary commentary with Jordan Walker. He's 23 years old. And I do this a lot with Francisco Alvarez when I explain why I still believe in him, because he came up when he was 20 and he's in his fourth year and he's only 23 years old. So with these guys that got brought up probably too soon, like the Cardinals bringing him up at 21 years old and having him play over 100 games that year, even though his numbers were great, are better than they've been, over the past 2 years. It's not good process. I still think you're overexposing your minor league talent, even if they are a top prospect. So for Jordan Walker, I think there's always going to be swing and miss in his game, really. I think that he hasn't really shown a capability to have plus plate discipline, at least at the major league level, and now we're in year 4 of watching him take regular at-bats. But I just think that power tool has a chance to live up to where his bat speed ranks him out, like the contemporaries that he shares there, because you have Caminero at the top, guys that you expect to sleepwalk to 30 home runs if they're making regular contact and they're healthy. So for Walker, the two things that Foolish has highlighted a lot in his commentary on players, which I do agree with, is in-zone contact rate and barrel rate. Right now, Jordan Walker has one of those things going for him. The question is, can he correct the other one to even just be slightly below league average? Because I think if he does, he gets to 30 homers this year. His slug is through the roof, and he becomes a plus baseball player. But we've seen 2 good weeks. We've seen 2 bad weeks. It's just a matter of which one do you buy more into.
Yeah, again, it's a funny Savant page because there's a lot of blood red. And you forget, this part of the reason this guy was that big of a prospect is he's a freak. He's 6'6", 250. He's 93rd in sprint speed right now. He's 99th in arm strength. The tools are there. I would say I do believe corny baseball. I think he needed to see good numbers on a scoreboard when he came to the plate.
That's your spinoff channel of Foolish?
Yes.
Okay, nice.
Yes. Subscribe. Add. The launches
Don't
today.
subscribe. Unsubscribe.
Unsubscribe.
That's your op now, dude.
We got BBD's rolling charts. Go check this out. That I just think there's a lot of talent in there. And watching him in that hot stretch, driving homers to the opposite field that other guys cannot do with ease. Again, this is, referencing a Cardinals-Nationals game in April is kind of sinful at any point of the season. But it was kind of like Jordan Walker got off to a hot start. They were in a back-and-forth game. Jordan Walker came up to the plate against a relief pitcher, and it was like, hey, if you're going to be this Jordan Walker, this is the time. And he did it. And, Jordan Walker, who for the past 2 years has... Imagine what he's heard from, or when he's looked at his stats, or the questions you have to answer at your locker room every game of hey, Jordan, it looks, another offer. Is there something wrong with you? I'm 22. That I don't know. I do believe that he's a talent, obviously a talented guy. To get called up at 2021, top prospect. That the truth of this one is the answer's probably in the middle, that we're going to look back at the stats and it's hey, if Jordan Walker plays every day, he should get to 25, 30 homers, and he might sneak out 20 steals, and there's probably going to be some holes in his game that from there, it'll be who can Jordan Walker really become as a baseball player. But I think he has tools that not a lot of guys on the baseball field have, that he's going to be able to figure it out. And he needed some success, man. It's been 584 OPS last year for 363 at-bats. That's miserable. Every day is miserable.
And I do want to say, I think everything here is weighed against expectations, right? And specifically, what are the expectations right now? And that's kind of what Jolly and I are trying to play off of. You know, if Jordan Walker from this date onwards to the end of the season has a 750 OPS, I think some people would be disappointed in that just because he has a 900 right now, but it would be a major improvement over everything he's done in the big leagues up to this point, you know? And so that's kind of what I'm saying with like the slight break pump. Like, I don't know if he's like an all-star, you know, right now. And just, yeah, everything's relative to expectations. Like, I'm not necessarily saying that I think Daniel Schneemann is a better hitter than Jordan Walker. I just think he's a better hitter than April 29th expectations or whatever day it is right now.
That's fair. Because, you know, I think it's also easy to see Jordan Walker get off that start, be 23 years old, and be like, wow, St. Louis, this is a new regime, and Jordan Walker is the new, captain, my captain.
Right.
And, yeah, those talks could go away very quickly, especially if baseball does what it does to basically every player that plays the game. Here's one that is great for the 48-minute mark. Daylen Lile.
Yeah.
Who's in, who's out? I mean, every time I watch a Daylen Lile highlight, I am shocked. I'm like, what the hell is this? The stance freaks me out a little bit. He's one of the faster guys I feel like I've seen on a field. Jolly, you're in on Lyle. I don't want to keep doing Bailey's out, you're in.
Sure.
You'll end up looking bad because all of these guys will
Sure.
struggle.
No, yeah, that's great. No, I'm just mopping up Nationals position player stock.
Okay.
I just like what they've got going on.
It traditionally works.
Yeah, you know, with Daylen Lile, they've improved him defensively, especially from his first season where it was kind of the larger question mark of like, is this guy going to be, like you said, Jake, a young guy who has to DH, which we don't usually love. Yeah, he has early season BABIP, all that stuff going for him as well. With him, I just like funky baseball players. If that's stupid, sue me. But like you said, the fun batting stance, kind of a weird baseball name. So I was kind of initially very attracted to him.
Here we go.
But early in the season, the walk to strikeout rate has been very, very good. 12 walks to 21 strikeouts early on. Marginal improvement from last year. He's gone from 6% to 9.2%, while his strikeout rate has stayed exactly the same at 16%. The contact rate is still there. He's lifting the ball a little bit more. His fly ball rate has jumped from 24 to 34 between seasons. So is it fully sustainable in terms of his slug? I hope so, because his slug hasn't been tremendous so far, but I think he can be a true on-base machine for this team, and I think it complements the rest of their lineup well, which is a little bit more contact-oriented with guys like Luis Garcia, who has not played well so far, but you have your slug with guys like Wood and Abrams, so I think Daylen Lile in the middle of that can kind of make a fun, like, 1 through 4 in that Nationals lineup that, you know, I'm buying a lot of stock into, Jake, so I have to lean into that. Thanks.
That's core talk, Bailey.
Yeah, come on.
Daylen Lile, you know, he's a contact guy, and then when you've got sort of a guy with contact as the base, you start to ask questions like, how much better is he at the other things, right? We know he can make contact. How much better is he at the other things? There is some swing decision regression going on right here. Like last year, you know, he was swinging at 75% of pitches in the strike zone. This year, it's also 75%. The difference is in the chase. Last year, 27% chase rate. This year, 36% so far. So there is more chase to his game, more swinging strikes as a result as he continues to chase outside of the zone. I think the more interesting thing for me with Lyle is sort of, what does that distribution of batted balls look like? And I think this is where I start to have beef a little bit sometimes with how Baseball Savant presents some of their data, because if you look at his air pull percentage right now, it's like this nice light pink to it. It's 18%. You say, oh, that feels pretty good. He's got some speed. He pulls the ball in the air. Maybe he runs to some homers. And then when he doesn't homer, maybe, you know, he uses that speed to get extra base hits. It's counting balls that he pulls in the air that are line drives, which are not going to be homers, and pop-ups, which are also not going to be homers. So he only has, you know, according to like true like fly ball launch angles, he only has 4 pulled fly balls all year on 98 batted balls total. So I just don't think like there's a lot of homers in that bat with that distribution right now. I just, you know, he's a really good line drive hitter, but I think when you just combine that with the swing decisions, I'm a little bit lower on him than others.
How dare you, man?
Yeah, if this was 2000s around the horn. Jolly would sadly just get the point because there's something about his name and his stance that feels like everything right with baseball. With that being said, those are two things that one definitely doesn't help. Actually, both don't help you on the baseball field.
Gets eyeballs on you. Come on.
Yes.
Dude.
That I don't know. I wanted to hear what you guys said because every time I see him, and then I'll see him flying for a triple, and I'm like, I love Daylen Lile, and then I'm just like, he's DHing today. Like, what's going on with the Nats?
Just
but
trust.
We're working on that.
Just
part
trust. Thank you.
Bailey, let's have you. And if someone's tuning in at this point and they're like, "Why aren't they talking about McGonagall?" We all like him. It's it's
He's
working.
great.
It's going to work.
I think he's really
Broke
good.
out.
Sadly, Parker Messick has somehow fully entered the chat that way. Chris Rose was bragging about him today.
That's gross.
I get Bailey a plus that I was a little surprised to check out on your sheet. Landon Roupp. Which when I brought up his savant, which now I've said is the most said word on this show, I was very surprised to see from what the eye test shows from his pitch mix to what Baseball Savant tells you he is. And he's been great so far. So walk me through it.
Yeah, I like Landon Roupp a lot, and I think sort of the basis of it fundamentally is I think he's a really good commander of the baseball. I just think he's really good at placing his pitches, and as a result, he's getting, sort of the batted ball results that he wants. You can see it kind of across the board there, the 56% ground ball rate. Like, that's a good feeling in San Francisco. That's Logan Webb territory, right? For a sinker baller, that feels nice for Landon Roupp. And I just think the way he locates his pitches is very strong. If you even want to scroll down on that page there, BBD, like you can see, like he gets, his sinker like up and in on the hands of batters, the curveballs, down, the changeup is down. That's where you want it. It all looks very good. Eno agrees. Eno has him at like a 107 location plus on there. So, I don't think it's the most overwhelming stuff. And I do think command pitchers, because command is less sticky than stuff, command pitchers are kind of inconsistent, like start to start or month to month, because they just might not have it every now and then. But yeah, I really like Landon Roupp. I think he's shown us a lot early on in this season. I think the very basis of it is that I do think he's very good at commanding the ball, which is funny because he did get into like a beaning guys war earlier in one of his starts in San Francisco and caused a bit of a ruckus. It's funny when you have like your command guy just like try to hit a guy and he's having trouble doing it.
Yeah.
Jolly, if you want, I think you gave him a plus as well. So this wasn't supposed to be a beefer.
Yeah, my if he came up, my whole analysis was going to be like, this guy just looks like he listens to Logan Webb a lot because he's becoming the Logan Webb kind of pitcher. The two highest Giants in ground ball rate, Logan Webb, 57.5%, Landon Roupp, 55%, both in the top 10 of all of baseball for qualified pitchers. That feels like a good formula. I don't have too much beyond that. He had kind of a rougher start when I saw him play my Mets, but I didn't think he pitched poorly. I think his defense kind of let him down, and that is just the other side of a pitching to contact kind of pitcher. But yeah, I've liked what I've seen so far from Landon.
And then I think tree rolls. What if I told you could catch a buzz and wake up without a hangover? You can. That's why we want to introduce you to our new friends over at Tree Rolls. Tree Rolls is a legal THC store that ships to your state. The beverages are the favorite. They've got the sparkling THC beverage like the Tree Fizz, delicious iced tea like the Shoreline Trico, and extra strength Mr. and Mrs. Dankers. That's right. No hangover, no next day regret, just good times. So if you're at a backyard hang, pool day, game night, crack one of these instead of a brewski. Your Sunday morning will thank you. And if you're looking for something stronger, the Mr. or Mrs. Dankers got one of those bad boys here right now. Delta 9 THC, 25 milligrams. Yeah. And some of them, they got some 0-calorie options. So if you're in the game, this is where you're going to want to go. These products are intended for 21 plus. They're shipped discreetly right to your door. No dispensary visits needed. For the month of April, to celebrate 420, Tree Rolls is giving you a special deal. 25% off your first order with code JAKE420. Go to treerolls.com. Code JAKE420. Tree Rolls, all the fun, none of the fog. Bailey, on your list, the only other two that jumped out, one's positive, one's negative, so I don't know how quick or harsh you want to be on them. Two pitchers, again, Rhett Lowder, you have the negative on, and JT Ginn or Ginn, I'm not even sure, but you had a plus with him, which, again, this could be expectations, like Rhett Lowder, someone we've heard about for a while if you get sucked into college baseball. That I don't know. Just curious your thoughts on them.
Yeah, I guess I'll start with JT Ginn. He's a guy who's sort of transformed the repertoire a little bit, and he's turned into a specific pitcher archetype that I like, which is I throw all the fastballs now, right? It used to be back then, oh, you're a 4-seam guy. Oh, you're a 2-seam guy. JT Ginn's like, I used to throw just 2-seam. Now I throw 2-seam, 4-seam, and cutter all at once. And that helps a lot with like platoon splits because you have like a different fastball combination you can use for each batter. And he's getting some chase on the breaking stuff as well, which has sort of helped. He doesn't have a ton of strikeouts to start the year, but again, that ground ball rate is over 50%, just as it was last year. Even last year, like I could see some underlying stats, not so bad. Like last year, he had like a 3.5 xFIP, and it's tough to pitch in Sacramento at the Sut, as they call it. But yeah, this year, 3.24 ERA, some starts, some relief appearances. I was about to say he's a former first-round pick. That felt like that was true. He's actually a former second-round pick, but he was, a big deal college guy. And I do think that allows me to sort of move it over to Rhett Lowder, who I'm a little bit low on. I think Rhett Lowder was making a lot of noise, especially early this season. Like his first couple starts were pretty electric. And of course, this was a Reds team that was missing, Hunter Green to start the year. So they were looking for, some hope from some of those young guys like Rhett Lowder. With him, it seems like just hitters are able to put like bat to barrel against him. Like I'm not sure if the stuff is really all that overwhelming. I've said in zone contact rate a lot, like 93 in zone contact rate against him. Like that's like he's going to put balls in play. And you think about only like an 8.7% swinging strike rate. Like he's probably going to be below average on the strikeout front. And so you start to ask the question, okay, is this guy good? Contact manager. Ground ball rate isn't insane right now. It's 41%. That home run rate for his ballpark that he plays in, I would say is almost suspiciously low. So I'm going to come out as sort of the low man on Rhett Lowder, the high man on JT Ginn. Expectations wise, actually probably pretty similar coming into this year, if I had to guess.
Yeah. Couple great college pitchers. How about that? Ginn was a first-round pick in 2018, but he went to Mississippi State. So
that was it.
You still get the points on that.
Wait, did anyone peek at his transactions or no?
I have not.
Traded by the Mets to the A's for
Yoenis Cespedes.
No.
Yep.
Foolish.
Keith Hernandez.
Like 2019.
Lowry?
No, they signed
ahead of the 2022 season. I'll give you that.
Oh, Bassett.
Chris Bassett.
Oh.
JT Ginn and Adam Oller. Forgot about him, but yeah.
Adam Oller mentioned. I guess Joliver, for you, if there's anyone specific you'd like to touch on, if we want to tie it all together, you have Michael Harris too as a plus. Is that just Mets fear?
I can never quit on Michael Harris II. I just think he's such a superstar. If he can just get. I saw that version of him in 2022, the version that skipped AAA and came straight to MLB and could hit MLB velocity and didn't get torched a second time through. And I haven't been able to quit him. And I feel like I'm seeing that version of him again this year. His batted ball profile is like insane right now. He always spreads the ball across the field. He plays probably the best center field defense in baseball. I can't think of anyone I like watching out there more than like Jacob Young. Denzel Clark, I guess. Yeah, it's true.
Sometimes he struggles to hit.
Right. I've always really liked Michael Harris II, and it's definitely a little bit of bias and also a little bit of fear because it feels like plays his best baseball against the Mets. And right now he's having his best start to a season in a really long time. He had that horrible first half last year, brought it back in the second half, and I feel like you're seeing the continuation of his very good second half last year into this year.
Bailey Bear, you get to watch him a lot more than we do.
Yeah, I get to watch him just about every day. I think just to add on to what Jolly says, we are observing some dad strength as well.
Nice.
If you're able to split up the season just a little bit, I think he was 637 OPS before becoming a dad. About a 1200 OPS since becoming a dad.
That's
so
awesome.
shout outs to Michael Harris III, actually.
That's so sick.
For inspiring his dad to maybe, I think what dad strength comes from is like you become a dad and then everything's just, the priorities in life just sort of change and you're like, you know what, baseball is just a game, right? And then once you realize baseball is just a game, you start playing a lot better because you stop putting so much pressure on yourself. So shout outs to Michael Harris III, aka I think you're calling him Trip.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I was going to make the joke. It's Wake and Jake 2050, and we're talking about Trip, aka Michael Harris Trace. Probably for the Braves, and
Probably for the
1% of his salary goes to the Braves Foundation. Of course, that's what we do here.
We extended him when he was 11. To be clear,
it's a good
it
contract.
was a 20-year deal.
Paid more than usual in those early years.
Yeah, you make up for it. I don't know. I could talk Nick Gonzalez and Austin Martin all day, but
Wait, I have one more question.
Oh,
because I didn't get to see Bailey's list per the hosting.
correct.
Were you also minus on Jose Soriano?
No, I think I was plus. I
He was-
mean,
he was a plus.
I'm
he's
surprised you
introduced the
didn't pick him
four
to talk
seam.
about then.
There's
Okay.
some swing and miss there that wasn't there. He's always been a velo guy, always been a ground ball guy. Like, if you throw hard and you get ground balls, I'm pretty much going to be plus for you, no matter what. Like,
All right.
I don't even know how to say his last name. Jack Kokanowitz.
Highest ground
kinda
ball
same
rate in
deal,
baseball
right?
right now. 60.
Yeah, those are my guys.
Wow. I just wanted to hear his take on that. That's all.
So you hate him?
I'm 50-50. It was a minus, but kind of half-hearted. It's like, I'm confused. I'm perplexed by it. I'll say that.
Okay.
But I don't want to not believe
Kind of
in
Another
it.
perplexing element is like, can the Angels defense continue to do this for
I don't
them?
think they can. That's
Yeah.
Shout out Oswald Peraza, but that's kind of it.
He almost made this list. He was on the list.
He was minus
Yeah,
minus.
I would have eaten about a week ago when Soriano was still invincible. I was going to do a thing that was like, it's baseball. It's 1 month. If you gave me Crochet or Soriano the rest of the way, give me Crochet, which, again, one good start and now injured list.
Yeah.
But, yeah, there's something. I know what you're saying, Jolly, but I think we're getting Angels uniformed a little bit. The guy throws a hunch. Guys can't hit him, and if they do, it's on the ground. Like, yes, this was if we did before the season the list of potential breakout guys, I know he wasn't the hottest name in the streets, but on arm talent and career progressing, like, yes, Jose Soriano should be a good pitcher.
Nice.
Sometimes we get angeled. Nobody wanted Nathan Church, huh? He plays. It's an electric brand of
great.
baseball.
It's great defense.
It's great.
He plays hard.
White boy with a little bit of motion.
We love that in our front office. Boys, I think that's where we call it. Thank you so much. I know you guys. I've seen your guys' DMs, and it's nasty. And I just wish you guys would support each other a little more, as we're all part of the baseball. What are we? I don't
Jake,
know.
he has 2 channels that are both bigger than mine.
Oh, he
I
dunks
can't-
on himself.
I can't
Goodness.
support
God his
that.
ass.
Ethically, I can't support that. That's my op.
The old pocket watching olive. That's what they call you.
Bailey, anything to get the people excited about?
No, I'm working on absolute crap right now.
Nice.
I will say, if I had a very weird video that I posted earlier that I think people were liking on Foolish Bailey. I looked at the concept of the players only meeting. So if you want to check that out, I looked at a bunch of different players only meetings. And spoiler alert, the best result of a players only meeting was probably the 2024 Mets, and the worst result was probably the 2025 Mets.
Yep.
I
Spot on.
normally research doesn't get me going, which is where you guys are very different than me and the great Jombino. Watching you, I think I would have liked watching you research players only meetings. Just the date and who led it and how it could have potentially went down. That does something for me.
That video.
Yeah, and I'm really good at Googling. Like I do the quotation marks,
Oh,
players
really?
only meeting.
Holy
It would be really
shit.
thrilling stuff, I'm sure. And I'm a very good typist. I can do over 100 words a minute easy.
Damn.
Impressive. All right, so if you like 100 words a minute, go check out Foolish Bailey or Foolish Baseball. Charlie Olive.
That players only meeting kind of inspired what's going to be my video Saturday. I'm doing a study in does firing your manager midseason actually work? Like, what's the history of it?
Sure.
What's the overall record? What are the best stories? What are the worst stories? Dalton helped me with a little bit of research. It's very fun. I learned a lot. I'll give you a little tidbit. How about this?
Oh,
Wow.
I'll give you two.
buckle up, Bailey.
There's a manager that's gotten a midseason hire via a firing 3 different times. Jim Riggleman. 3 times.
Sure.
Was just the dude waiting in the wings and got the keys midseason. And then, like, all of the best managers of the 2010s were from midseason firings. Like Buck with the Orioles.
Nice.
Ned Yost on the Royals. Clint Hurdle with the Rockies was a midseason firing. So if you want to fire your manager, you may find the guy right after, is the moral of the story.
Look at that. Tune in. Bailey, on the way out, you can't research anything, but if you have one prospect for us, now's the time.
I don't. End of episode.
Damn it. He's off the hook. Thank you, boys, so much. Go watch. You all watch their stuff, but if you don't, go check them out. Thank you, boys. Wake and Jake will be back next week. Subscribe.
Wow.
That's how you get
James Tibbs.
it. Nice.
Oh, that's mean to Red Sox fans.
And he was traded
for Dustin May.